Welcome to Casually Cryptid, a show where I try to make heads or tails of all the weird-ass creatures that may or may not inhabit our messed up world. I'm your host, PieAndLove, but you can just call me Bella. So, this series was born out of quarantine boredom, as many things are these days, and my fascination with cryptozoology, the study of cryptids. According to Merriam-Webster, cryptids are animals that have been claimed to exist, but have not been proven to exist. My fascination with cryptids definitely started when I was 9 and I played the Cryptid Island on PopTropica. I'm not joking. PopTropica is to blame for this. Is PopTropica even still up? Oh my god, forget this show. I'm just gonna play PopTropica right now because it's still up. Oh my god, the little characters look the same and everything. Aww. I kid. Back on track. The existence of sometimes horrifying and sometimes supernatural and sometimes just relatively cool creatures that science has not yet proven or disproven truly is really interesting to me, to say the least. There is a list miles and miles long of cryptids that I could go over and that I might go over depending on my motivation and whether I feel like this series will be worth doing after I post this video. Who knows? This is a free-for-all. I'm just doing this for fun and I'm free-balling the entire thing. So to start this series out, I decided to go with a cryptid that is near and dear to my little Marylander heart. The Beltsville Goatman. Just a disclaimer, this is not the Goatman that the BuzzFeed Unsolved boys went after. That one was in Texas, but weird enough that guy lives or haunts an area near where my family in Texas lives. So I'm just like, coincidence? There are a few different Goatmen across the United States, including, I believe, 2 in Texas and I think another one somewhere on the East Coast, but I believe that the Beltsville Goatman has the most sci-fi supervillain origin story of them all. The widely recognized origin story of the Beltsville Goatman is that in the 1950s, scientist Stephen Fletcher, working at the Beltsville Agricultural Center, conducted an experiment that mixed the DNA of a goat and a human. There's a lack of consensus on whether or not Fletcher conducted this experiment on his assistant or on himself, but all that we know is that there was some funky DNA mixing going on, and it went awry, as you can expect. I mean, did this guy never see The Fly? When did The Fly come out? Okay, so according to Wikipedia, The Fly short story was originally published in a UK edition of Playboy in June 1957, and the first film adaptation was in 1958, so I don't know. Regardless, Stephen Fletcher should have known that this was not going to go well. He accidentally created a goat-man hybrid that was 6 feet tall, hairy, had cloven hooves, and horns. This Goatman escaped the research center and then went off into the woods, where he stole an axe from a farm, which he would later use to kill humans and also dogs. He's said to haunt the woods around the town of Bowie, which is close to Beltsville, though not close enough in my head to really justify him traveling from Beltsville to Bowie. I mean, like, just haunt Beltsville, man. I don't know. I'm not a Goatman. I don't know I don't understand the logic. Specifically, people see him around Fletchertown Road, and it is, according to the hopefully reputable source that is omgfacts.com, the Goatman is believed to live in a cave underneath an old metal bridge. What is it with Goatmen and bridges? The first sighting of the Goatman was in 1957, in which case, why the fuck did Stephen Fletcher not read a UK edition of Playboy where he would have read The Fly short story and realized, oh, maybe I shouldn't mix human and animal DNA, because even though in the short story it was a mistake, he could have realized, hey, maybe I will create a mistake of nature. Who knows? The Goatman's next appearance was in 1962 when police pegged a string of murders of hikers in the woods around Bowie and Beltsville on him because of a lack of evidence. The first time that the Goatman was recognized by the media was on October 27th, 1971, when a family came forward and blamed the disappearance and eventual gruesome murder of their family dog on him. Allegedly, the teenage daughter of said family and her friends had heard weird noises in the woods and seen a weird, large figure the same night that the dog vanished. In the same newspaper that reported on this, the Prince George's County News, a bunch of people came forward saying that they saw an animal-like creature that stood on its hind legs around the area at that time. Legend states that the Goatman is known to terrorize young lovers who cross his path, which is great for all us single people out there, because finally our crippling loneliness and inability to find a partner amidst all the other chaos of this world is finally paying off and protecting us from the Goatman. He's also said to specifically hunt down teenagers, but I kind of think that that part of the legend was tacked on by parents who just wanted to scare their kids from staying out at all hours, because, 70s. Kids had cars finally. They just went out everywhere. I don't know. Sightings of the Goatman have continued since, though not steadily, but they've continued. For some reason, The Sun, which is a UK-based tabloid, reported in 2016 on a string of Goatman sightings that crept up in Maryland, so I don't know why a notorious UK tabloid is reporting on Maryland, which is one of the lamest states. We're not even not known for anything other than Old Bay and crabs. I don't understand why. Oh, and apparently this article was written by George Harrison, and I don't even know where to start with that one, so. The article included this picture, which I initially scoffed at because, look at it, it looks like Bigfoot. It just looks like the OG cryptid Bigfoot. It looks like the homie, the real one, my main man. But then I looked closer and realized, oh hey, it has horns. And then I got very scared and had to sleep with the nightlight on that night because it was midnight when I was researching all of this, and I am very scared very easily. WBAL-TV, a Baltimore-based news station, reported that two different residents in Laurel, Maryland, which is close to Beltsville and Bowie, had spotted the Goatman lurking on the side of a road, apparently waiting for teens to cross his path so he could chop them down. Now, I'm not saying that I am an axe-wielding maniac, but if I was, I don't think I would discriminate on who I wanted to chop down based on age, so I don't know why they just assumed that he was waiting for teenagers. People have gone out searching for the Goatman, a la Finding Bigfoot and etc., though obviously not to such notoriety. One man in particular, Mark Opsosnik, don't know if I pronounced your name right, but it's a name, who is basically a Goatman legend expert, used to go out hunting the Goatman on Fletchertown Road with his buddies back in the 70s when he was a teenager. Obviously, they came up empty-handed in these searches, but Mark continued to collect eyewitness accounts for decades afterwards, and I think he still might. I'm not sure. I know that he's really big into folklore and cryptids and general creepiness in Maryland, and he's written at least one book, so. But the Goatman remains at large. Maybe he's hunkered down like the rest of us, quarantined for his own safety. Maybe he's wearing a mask when he goes out these days. I don't know. Maybe he's just bored out of his mind because there are no teenagers making out in cars for him to murder. Or maybe he just doesn't exist. Who am I to say? I'm not a scientist. I'm just a cryptid enthusiast. And that is the legend of the Goatman of Beltsville, Maryland. I'll link all of the sources that I used for this video in the description below in case you want to research yourself. If you have a cryptid that you want me to look into, consider dropping a comment below and I may get to it. No promises. I don't know how often I will be doing these videos. Who knows? If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and check out my other content, which is showing up in links on the screen now, and maybe even subscribe for more? Who knows? What was that? I don't know. Anyways, that's all from me for now. Stay creepy, kids.